So last but certainly not least, we've got some exciting news. Um,
Yes.
Last episode we discussed the confirmation of an Xbox handheld being in development and how PlayStation needs to do the same, and maybe they are. So
Ooh.
Bloomberg reports that a PlayStation handheld may be in development, but that it's years away. Um,
Uh,
they also say there's a chance they're testing things out, but it won't go. They won't go forward with it. But I hope that
mm.
isn't the case.
Yeah,
The
same.
So the PlayStation Portal was initially also a test for like a new PSP, but turned into a game streaming device, meaning that you need a PS5 to use it. Plus,
Mm.
it's just I'm sure you've seen it. It's just a screen with no, it's just essentially the DualSense controller with a screen in the center of it.
I have seen
Um,
it. Yep.
and yeah, it's just used to like if you want to play it handheld in another room in the same building, you can do that. But
It's
otherwise,
like, boo. That's
it's
not
nothing.
fun.
So like yeah, I've said before they need to treat this new PlayStation Portable like Xbox does the Series S as a cheaper, all digital and less powerful version of the main console, but with the
Mm.
addition of portability and the option to dock it like the Nintendo Switch.
Yeah, like,
Um,
if that were the case, I would buy it.
yeah,
Like,
that's
straight
so.
up.
So that's what I'm thinking. So the rumors specifically say that the device will play PS5 games. So
Mm.
it makes me wonder, what if PlayStation doesn't release a new console around the time that they usually would? Like it came out 2020, I believe, the PS5, and it's
Mm-hmm.
2025 currently. Normally, this is around the time when they would release a new console. Instead, they did the PS5 Pro. So either
Right.
next year or the year after that, you would assume they'd probably release a new console, right? Um,
Yeah.
so, but we both know that doesn't make any sense because it
It
feels
doesn't.
like they've barely done anything with this generation, both PlayStation and Xbox. I feel like
Right.
they haven't fully taken advantage of it and actually pushed it to its limit to warrant them making anything beyond pro consoles. Like pro consoles make sense, but making a completely new console is just it just doesn't feel like the right time. It feels like we're
Right,
still
it's
at
like a
least
waste of money.
yeah, it feels like we're still another 4 years out from that versus another 1 or 2. Um, so I think it would make more sense for them to instead of making a completely new console, make a portable console that takes advantage of the technology that they have now, which they haven't pushed to the limit yet. Um,
Right.
so like they're we're close to the ceiling of graphical fidelity and console performance
Mm-hmm.
when it comes to PlayStation and Xbox,
For
and
sure.
it can be pushed so much further. What is capable now, like the ceiling that we're at or getting close to, we still haven't like most games still haven't even really reached it. So it's like let's keep messing around with that instead of trying to push it further when it doesn't need to be pushed further. Um,
Yeah.
People have also speculated that Xbox's handheld will run Steam and Epic. Um,
That
it-
would be really interesting. I
you
don't
know,
think it's gonna happen, but
I think it is allowing you to play PC and PlayStation games because PlayStation games are on Steam.
mm.
Some PlayStation games, not all of them, but you know, I feel like if they were to do that, PlayStation would immediately make a separate app, which I'm surprised they didn't already do that. Um,
Right.
which like I wouldn't be mad at them for doing that. Like Xbox has a separate app as well. Like Xbox games aren't on Steam. Don't
Yeah.
so like I wouldn't be mad. Like if Xbox made a handheld device and then you could play PlayStation games on it, PlayStation would immediately make a separate app for you to play PlayStation games on that isn't available on the Xbox handheld and is only
Absolutely.
available on PCs. Um, but yeah, Microsoft is a computer company. That's what they do. They make computers. And Xbox has, we've been talking about how they're slowly kind of potentially moving toward um, away from consoles and towards
Right.
just making software and
Mm-hmm.
making a handheld that is a competitor to something like the Steam Deck and ROG Ally. Um, would I feel like make a lot of sense for Xbox having a console that plays more than just Xbox games because let's be real, there's not a lot of like exclusive
Yeah.
Xbox games that people care to buy an Xbox handheld to play. Especially outside of America, the market is leans far more towards Nintendo consoles and PlayStation.
For
Um,
sure.
so like, it would make sense to maximize sales to also be able to play games from Steam and Epic Game Store on this handheld from
Yeah.
Xbox. Um, And hopefully something like that, like I said, would push PlayStation to go, we also need to hop into the market. Of course, I do not expect PlayStation to allow you to play PC games on it. And the thing is, unlike Xbox, they don't need to because they have a big enough library of their own games to actually, like Nintendo, make people want to buy their handheld device.
Right.
And people like yourself who like, it'll be like half a decade before you probably even think about getting a PS5. But if they release that,
yeah, because
you just got a 4 and you still got a lot of games to play.
Right.
So like,
and it's like for me, I can't justify the cost
exactly.
of the PS5 because I'm physically in the office all the time.
Exactly.
I wouldn't be able to play it. It'd be like a $500 paperweight in my house, you know?
So like, if they were to release a handheld, a lot of people who have probably been wanting to play a bunch of different PlayStation games for a very long time would buy that to play all of the PS4 games that they missed and all of the PS5 games that they missed because maybe they haven't upgraded yet because they can't afford to, or they don't care to because, you know, not enough games have come out. But a portable console might make them go, you know what? I'd like to upgrade so I can play my PS4 games in my bedroom or play my PS4 games on a plane, or, you know, during my lunch break at work. So like,
right.
Yeah, it would be dope.
Super dope.
Yeah, you know, I like the idea of handheld. I feel like this is the direction just the industry is going. Handheld makes a lot of sense. Like having a handheld device that is that there not being a separation between handheld and console like there used to be, and instead them being the exact same thing.
Which is nice. I like this direction, honestly.
And like I said, we don't need a PlayStation 6. We don't need the Xbox 720. Like we're good where we are. We need to keep playing around with this generation. Because I really doubt most people would upgrade to a PlayStation 6. Like personally, even though I'm like in my mind, I'm like, you'd probably expect me to, but honestly, I wouldn't because
and that's real.
I wouldn't have a reason to. Like all the games still run perfectly fine on my PlayStation 5, and I don't imagine the PlayStation 6 is going to be so much more powerful than something like a Pro that I would feel the need to upgrade. Like things can only go so far. So like we're probably not. Hopefully, if Sony's smart, if PlayStation's smart, they will not be releasing a PlayStation 6 for a very long time, and will instead release a portable console. And then once they figure out how to make, I think that we'll probably only see a PlayStation 6 once they figure out, assuming they release this portable console and it's successful. They probably won't release a PlayStation 6 until they figure out how to make PlayStation 6 games work on a new model of that portable console.
Right.
And I hope that's the direction we go. Honestly,
I hope so too.
It'd be interesting. Well, never mind. That doesn't make sense. I think that there's a chance that maybe not this generation, I was about to say, but the next generation of console could be like similar to what they're probably going to do with GTA 6, funnily enough, with the PlayStation 6. It could be we could not see another PlayStation for like a really long time after that because things can only go so far with tech. Again, who knows where technology is going in the next few years? Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe technology is about to go in a crazy place that we're not predicting because we don't know about the tech world that will completely revolutionize everything. But like potentially the PS6 could be a console that lasts for like 20 years. Like depending on how powerful it is versus Nintendo where like Nintendo is in a place where like the next Nintendo console is for sure going to be around for a decade, but
absolutely,
it would make a lot more sense for them to eventually upgrade because they're still going to be behind. Like the rumors that we've talked about before is that the next Switch is going to be as powerful as a PS4 Pro, or a little bit more powerful than a PS4 Pro, but not as powerful as like a PS5, which is far more powerful than honestly I think any of us would have expected. But you know, still not at the cutting edge of technology. So Nintendo would still have another place to upgrade to. But presumably with their next console, there's probably not going to be much further for PlayStation to go after PlayStation 6. So it would probably be a while before they even decide to make a PlayStation 7 whenever the 6 happens. And even then, like I said, we don't even need a 6 yet. So there's not even really even a point thinking about that. So like, yeah. PlayStation, make a handheld. It is the smartest decision to make. People want handhelds. I think that's very obvious. And PlayStation, they used to be on top when it came to handhelds. They used to be neck and neck with Nintendo. It used to be a competition. And
which is not an easy feat.
Yeah, I'd love for it to be a competition again when it comes to handhelds.
Right.
Especially since a PlayStation handheld would very likely be like maybe a slightly less powerful version of a Steam Deck, where it could play games as powerful as Cyberpunk 2077, but in your hand. Whereas
Right.
a Nintendo console is never going to be able to do that. At least not anytime soon. Maybe
Yeah.
maybe the one after the next one, but not the next one.
For sure. For sure.